and you're tuning into a very special interview edition. Now, I, as a young girl, and I'm sure many of us out there, have always wondered about the glamours of the life of royalty. Today, we just might get some answers through a very special guest hailing all the way from the United Kingdom. So let's take a peek at who that might be in the following.
Less than 2 days after arriving here, Prince, Princess and Baby Prince emerged to the cheers of the crowd.
William Wales.
I think we all were starstruck. Everyone was trying to, not show it too much for his sake.
I'm incredibly proud to be amongst such rich guys, and I'm very privileged to be flying with some of the best pilots, I think, in the world.
The people cheered as the newlyweds emerged, holding hands outside Westminster Abbey.
It's innovation, it's community-led initiatives, so I was very, very pleased that there was an organisation like Tusk.
Let's please put your hands together for His Royal Highness, Prince William, the Duke of Cambridge. Hello, Your Royal Highness. Yes, nice to see you. Please have a seat. Thank you very much for joining us here on our show today, Your Royal Highness.
Thank you.
Yes, how has it been, your trip to Vietnam so far?
It's been fantastic. It's been a very warm welcome. Been waiting a long time to come to Vietnam.
Now, one of the main reasons you're here is to, for the cause of wildlife protection. Can you please share with us what inspired you to be interested in wildlife in the first place?
That's a very big question. So my family have always had a very close affinity to conservation, particularly, and to the natural world. My grandfather was president of WWF for many years. And my father was heavily involved in climate change long before it was fashionable. I've always listened and learnt from them and other very key people in my life who have steered me or shown me the importance of the natural world and the environment and conservation.
Do you remember your first kind of real-life encounter with wildlife?
My first encounter was probably in Australia when I was a tiny little baby. And my father nicknamed me Wombat from that age because I started crawling in Australia, the sort of closest connection with wildlife from then. But my biggest, most fundamental point was spending time in Kenya.
Yes.
After school, I went to Kenya and I spent a time learning and understanding and working on a conservation or conservancy there. And I loved the challenge of it. I loved the sort of the different dynamics of working in that environment and with people who generally appreciate the surroundings.
Yes, it must have been great kind of working alongside the local community and be, obviously not among, but in close proximity to the wildlife.
Absolutely.
Yes.
The Duke of Cambridge has been the royal patron of Tusk since 2005 and has been a powerful advocate for Tusk's work to support conservation, education and community development across Africa ever since.
And at the current pace of illegal poaching, when Charlotte turns 25, the African elephant will be gone from the wild. I'm not prepared to be part of a generation that lets these iconic species disappear from the wild. I'm not prepared to explain to our children why we lost this battle when we had the tools to win it.
Wanting to do more, the Royal Foundation established United for Wildlife. The campaign unites the world's leading wildlife charities and celebrities around the world to a movement that will make a real change for wildlife.
We're in a world where our generation and the younger generation can really, really make a difference. And we need to do it now.
The Prince has since then travelled to many parts of the world to raise awareness about wildlife crime. Earlier this year, the declaration of the United for Wildlife International Task Force on the transportation of illegal wildlife products was signed by 40 senior representatives from across the transportation sector, including leaders of airlines, shipping firms and custom operators.
What have you witnessed in the efforts to protect wildlife, and what has impressed you the most?
I've been lucky enough to travel a lot down the East African coast. Many of these communities are very poor, but if you have an elephant, if you have a rhino, if you have a pride of lion nearby, the tourists come. And that money that the tourists bring in that community goes straight back into the community.
Yes.
So for water, for education. So when people who come from miles and miles away come in with an AK-47 and shoot up everything there is, it is effectively burglary, it's robbery, it's stealing the natural heritage of that community.
Yes.
And that's the one area that I think the illegal wildlife trade, when people talk about it, they forget about it. It's the unseen consequences of the illegal wildlife trade, which is really harming and damaging these very vulnerable, very rural communities.
Now, we understand a lot of people are, taking advantage of the transportation system as a means to illegal wildlife trade, and it is because of this that you set up the Transport Task Force. Can you tell us about this initiative?
The Transportation Task Force was an area of the illegal wildlife trade that we identified as being a weakness that no one had really looked at before. And the private sector particularly, so that's shipping, aviation, they'd never been engaged in trying to tackle the illegal wildlife trade. So we went to them very positively and said, please help us deal with this issue. And we very much empowered them to come up with solutions that were tangible and effective.
Yes. Now, one of your roles in recent years, at least from 2013, is being a father to Prince George and Princess Charlotte. Can you please share with us about this role?
Well, as the other parents in the room will testify, there's wonderful highs and there's wonderful lows. No, it's been quite a change for me personally. I'm very lucky in the supports I have from Catherine. She's an amazing mother and a fantastic wife. But I've struggled at times. The alteration from being a single independent man to going into marriage and then having children is life-changing. And I adore my children very much, and I've learnt a lot about myself and about a family just from having my own children. It's amazing how much you pick up from just in those moments.
Yes.
But George is a right little rascal sometimes. It keeps me on my toes. But he's a sweet boy, and Charlotte is well. Bear in mind, I haven't had a sister, so having a daughter is a very different dynamic. So I'm learning about having a daughter, having a girl in the family. But no, it's wonderful. It's fantastic, and you've got to make the time for the family. It's very
Exactly.
important.
With the time for the family, what are some of the hobbies that you still hopefully have some time for?
So what are the hobbies I still do? So I still occasionally ride my motorbike. Quite like my bike a lot. I love being outside with my dog. Lupo is a spaniel. He needs a lot of walking.
Lupo.
Yeah. He's very busy as a spaniel. They don't stop moving around. Their tail is constantly wagging as they're going around. And I still play a bit of football.
Yes.
I'm getting a bit old for it now, but I still try and go play football. I go for a run. I enjoy skiing. I still enjoy doing that. So sports particularly, I still enjoy.
Are there any kind of favorite foods that you like?
Last night we had a delicious dinner. Some very good spring rolls, some prawns, and it was amazing. Absolutely delicious.
Yes.
So I like trying lots of food. Catherine is much more adventurous with food than I am. She's not fussy in the slightest. She'll eat anything. I'm a little bit more picky. But no, it was delicious, yeah.
Yes. Now, Vietnam has shown a lot of its commitment to protecting wildlife, and one of the proof is the Hanoi Conference on Illegal Wildlife Trade. There, the international community also highly praised what Vietnam has done in order to protect its endangered species and to fight against wildlife crimes.
In the opening speech of the Third International Conference on the Illegal Wildlife Trade, or IWT, His Royal Highness Prince William, the Duke of Cambridge, applauded Vietnam's effort in combating the wildlife trade to express determination in cracking down on wildlife crime. Vietnamese authorities on November the 12th destroyed over 2 tons of ivory and 70 kilos of bear and tiger bones. which has been illegally trafficked into the country.
Your first ever destruction of illegally traded ivory and rhino horn at the weekend provides a powerful example ahead of this conference, and we look forward to hearing about the further actions you plan to take.
During the past years, Vietnamese government has shown its determination in this battle to combat wildlife crime.
Việt Nam cũng là quốc gia sớm tham gia các công ước Liên Hiệp Quốc về đa dạng sinh học, công ước về phòng chống tội phạm xuyên quốc gia, về buôn bán quốc tế các loài động vật, thực vật hoang dã nguy cấp. Và nhà nước Việt Nam cũng đã ưu tiên thành lập các lực lượng chuyên trách thừa hành pháp luật trong lĩnh vực này. Sự quan tâm này thể hiện trong các cam kết quốc tế, các hiệp định song phương và đa phương, các tuyên bố chung mà Việt Nam tham gia.
Vietnam is not alone in this battle. Many countries, organizations and individuals have joined hands together. At the conference, 46 countries agreed on Hanoi's statement on wildlife crime as part of their common efforts and determination to protect wildlife.
In his trip to Vietnam this time, apart from participating in the Hanoi Illegal Wildlife Trade Conference, the Duke of Cambridge is also visiting a number of areas in the capital city in order to learn more about Vietnam's commitment to combating wildlife crimes, but also to see more about the life of the Vietnamese people here in the capital city.
I'm a little rhino. Last month, my uncle was killed by men who wanted his horn. That made me really sad. Please protect me and my family from rhino horn poachers.
That was a line from the book I'm a Little Rhino that the Duke read with pupils at Hồng Hà Primary School in Hoàn Kiếm District, Hanoi. The Duke's visit helped to inspire young children in wildlife protection.
Sau buổi trò chuyện hôm nay với hoàng tử, con đã biết cách bảo vệ con tê giác. Rhino horn just made of keratin, just like human fingernails. Con mong là mọi người không cưa sừng của nó đi, bởi vì làm như thế sẽ làm hại cho nó và nó rất là đau ạ.
Joining such activity, the Duke has witnessed the effort of raising awareness for wildlife protection through early education in Vietnam. Evidently, through this campaign between Humane Society International, a US-based animal protection organization, and the Vietnamese government.
Through our campaign, we've had several outreach and engagement events where we go and visit schools, similar to the one today, and we try to enlist them in our effort to spread the word that rhino horn's no good as medicine, and that use and buying of rhino horn is contributing to the extinction of these animals.
According to the Vietnam Association for Oriental Medicine, medicine derived from wild animals like rhino's horn cannot cure cancer, unlike many people believe. At the Herbal Medicine Street of Lan Ông in Hanoi's Old Quarter, the Duke learned some effective traditional prescriptions using only herbal and medicinal plants.
In the traditional medicine, what would this cure?
Những cái rất là bình thường, nó không ảnh hưởng như con sò, con hến ở biển thì nó cũng là vị thuốc người ta vẫn dùng. Chứ còn bây giờ chẳng hạn vấn đề bảo vệ động vật hoang dã, thiên nhiên hoang dã ấy, thì nói chung là Đông y cực rất là nhiệt tình, coi như ủng hộ.
United for Wildlife is the message that the Duke shared with Vietnamese artists to promote greater public awareness on the issue. All of these local artists are frontline campaigners for wildlife protection.
To have the prince behind issues, world issues such as this, I think it's such an important thing. And if there's anything that people like us can do, that we should do it, and we have a responsibility to hammer that message through to the public.
Tôi còn bàn với nhạc sĩ Thanh Bùi rằng là chúng tôi cùng sáng tác và thực hiện một bài hát bằng tiếng Việt, bằng âm nhạc và bằng ngôn ngữ Việt Nam để nói với tất cả mọi người Việt Nam rằng là đừng sử dụng sừng tê giác vì nó chẳng có ích gì cho sức khỏe của mình cả, để chúng ta không phải là những người triệt tiêu toàn bộ tê giác hoang dã ở trên thế giới.
I'm now joined by the Duke here in the heart of Hanoi. We're on the Taehoe Bridge in the Sword or Hwan Kim Lake. And as you've seen, the Duke of Cambridge has been able to meet a number of people across different locations in the city. Now, I'm very curious, Your Royal Highness, how has it been going so far, your trip today?
It's been going really well, thanks. We had a lovely look around the traditional medicine community, and they were very interesting to learn firsthand from the experts. And I was trying to ask them about the awareness of traditional medicine across the wider community, and because obviously traditional medicine and Western medicine are very different. So I was trying to understand culturally and socially how much traditional medicine is important in places like Vietnam. And I had a little walk down the high street, and I felt like buying a few things in the shops and desperately getting on a motorbike. There are a lot of bikes around. I love my bikes, so I know I've had a lovely introduction to Hanoi.
Yes, what can we as individuals here in Vietnam contribute to the combating against wildlife crimes here in the country and the world?
In a world that is much more connected by social media and everything else, I do feel we can really learn and educate, particularly the younger generation, to inform the older generation, their grandparents or parents, about the effects of using wildlife products and the damage that it can have, not just to the animal itself, but to the global community and to these very vulnerable communities in some cases in Africa.
Yeah, so raising awareness across the strata, across the generations. What is your message to the youths of Vietnam, seeing that this country, has such a population that's predominantly young?
I've been incredibly impressed by the sort of diversity and the buzzingness of the young. I think some of the languages, the fact that they speak incredible English was amazing. My Vietnamese is useless, but I think it's a city, a country on the up. And the change that obviously Vietnam's been through the last 20 years is incredible compared to other parts of the world. So, I've been hugely enthused by what I've seen and loved meeting all the young and the old. But my message is very much a positive message for the future. And I would love it if the young would join with me and be global leaders for conservation and really champion this cause.
Yes, thank you very much, Your Royal Highness. And that wraps up our special edition of Interview with His Royal Highness Prince William, the Duke of Cambridge. We hope you have enjoyed this edition as much as I very much have. And we will have a longer edition tomorrow at 10:45 p.m. local time in Hanoi on VTV1. So do tune into that to learn more about his meaningful activities in protecting wildlife for the future of our world. Thank you very much.